multiple areas of dynamic artistic capacity over the course of, at this point, so much time. I don't want to age you, but a significant career over a decade. Yeah, I was going to say a couple of decades and very humble beginnings, but always, I was just saying this off camera, always at the forefront of the next big wave. And by that very courageous sort of approach, always sort of there just in the nick of time to pick up the newest thing and be a leader. Tell us about how is that something you orchestrate on purpose or just naturally fall into these things?
I mean, I've been lucky enough to have been given the opportunity to work at places that, like ILM, for example, that, I've always wanted to work there ever since I was a kid. And I don't know what it is, I can't fully explain it. I was able to work there. I mean, hard work is most likely a part of it.
Right.
And Valve Software, another place I've always wanted to go to, and Oculus. So I've been very lucky in that, and it's not really something that I've planned thinking back. I just sort of, kind of go about and do my own work, having fun with it, and I think having a lot of fun and passion for what you do, you just kind of, and if you do it often enough and well enough that people take notice, and you start getting into situations where it leads you to something that you weren't expecting, and it's also like the gut feeling of, well, okay, I probably need to react or act on this certain opportunity.
At a certain point in time, of course. When you feel that train a-coming, as they say. You hear that train a-coming, you say, well, I could wait for the next one to come in the station, or... I think that's what we were talking about off the camera. That's how I felt about ZBrush the first time I experienced ZBrush. I thought, this is like one of those pivotal moments in life where there's a train coming through, and you could either get on the train, or you can say, well, I'm going to stay here and see what happens. And I think that, from a career standpoint, if I were to observe your career in reverse, if I could be so bold, I would say that there's been a few trains that have come into your station, and you just were sort of courageous enough to jump on them at a certain time, and been very blessed by, the ILM experiences. Some friends were mentioning Chris Costa off camera there for a minute. Hey, Chris. I'm sure he's watching. Grande Brasileiro, my dear friend. Basically, those are the types of things that happen when you have those leaps of faith. And why we're talking about this is because on that other side of the camera, as we've said over and over again, with so many industry leaders here today, people that haven't even been on the camera that are sitting in the audience as well, right? I mean, this is fair.
Yeah.
People at home they don't realize that because, they're on one side of the camera, but you and I see the people sitting in the audience, and there's
it's immense.
some immense weight in the audience. We're sitting on hallowed ground, for instance.
Yeah.
But there is something to be said about having that courage, and I think that's what I'm trying to pull out of everyone this particular year, is to say, for those people at home, have courage to believe in yourself, and if you feel that gut instinct that you've mentioned, jump on the train and see what happens.
Yeah, it really is, it's that gut instinct. I think it's served me well before, and I mean, there were instances where, okay, maybe it's a bit too much of a gut punch instead of a gut instinct.
Yeah, well, everybody.
So you kind of have to calibrate your how you read into things, and mostly for me, if it's an opportunity where I can see myself growing into a better artist, then I'm all in.
Right. Well, let me ask you something. You mentioned the gut punches. It's not all roses and peaches, candies and gumdrops, and bell bottoms and hugs. There's been some ups and downs, correct? I mean, you've had some hurdles. Tell these people, he's a human being. There's a flesh and blood being here. I mean,
if you prick me, no. But
if he will bleed, I will bleed.
I mean, early on in my career, I've pretty much I've paid my dues, and I'd like to think that I've paid my dues.
Absolutely.
I've worked, and I regret nothing. Let me just say that out now. I regret nothing.
Same here.
But there have been like struggles early on. Of course, who doesn't, right? But it's just you look back and you don't regret it. It's all just a layer to that to the armor, that you wear moving forward.
You know what I like to call it?
What?
Stepping through the homeostasis.
There you go,
right?
Man.
You want to get technical. What it is you're stepping through the barrier of hurt. And you say, well, I'm going to switch from 35-pound dumbbells to 50.
Yeah.
And it's going to hurt for a minute, but after a few weeks, these biceps of mine are going to
Exactly.
Strange coming from a guy who, if I took my jacket off, you'd see my true weight. I'm like Peter Parker, like this thing makes me like...
Once you wear that bat suit, though,
I had
man.
it off for a minute in there. And Chris from Leica said to me, what happened to your jacket? What happened to you? A minute ago, you were like a muscular guy. And I said, it's like the Peter Parker syndrome. What are you going to do?
It is, man.
With great jackets come great responsibility.
Or Superman, right?
Right? Yeah, exactly. So, but you did have humble beginnings. Most people don't know. By way of Manila...
Yes.
To Dallas and then Toronto?
Yeah, by way of Manila, went to Toronto.
What were you doing in Toronto? Spill the beans. I'm from there.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I got my start. I studied in Seneca
College.
Seneca College.
Oh, yeah, Newnham campus?
Yes.
Me too.
Oh my gosh, man. I forgot the teacher.
Funny thing, right?
Alan.
I'm not going to remember that.
Okay,
forget about it. Yeah.
What a
trip,
on.
Right? Where'd you live when you were living there?
I was in Malvern, man.
Okay, wow. Okay, they had a good baseball team.
Yeah, good baseball team, but
very,
very, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, you had a really good baseball team.
Yeah.
Interesting neighborhood, too.
Interesting neighborhood,
yeah. On the cusp of all things potentially good and potentially bad.
Straddling that line right there.
We could talk about that for half a second.
People from Malvern are probably like...
Yeah, if anyone from Malvern's watching. Right.
And I appreciated my time in Malvern. I mean, it was a great place growing up.
Yeah.
Worked in a lot of places in downtown Toronto after college, or after Seneca.
What were you working at down in those days?
I was in a Daily Post, a lot of ad agency, or ad, what do you call it? Like post-production facilities that dealt with
for advertising
TV,
stuff. Yeah, TV advertising.
So
sure.
I was, I wasn't even an artist there, just kind of like the gopher boy for buying donuts for when the rock star director client kind of came in, and I would do, what do you call them? It's been so long, like beta copies, beta copies and stuff like that.
Do you remember TVO?
TVO.
Yeah, Channel 2.
No, man.
Where they had like Polka Dot Door and stuff?
No.
Oh, geez, man. Anyway, so
Polka Dot Door.
Yeah, you remember Polka Dot Door? Anyway, they're 2 doors away from me. I'll share this with you now because this is oftentimes doesn't come up. A little bit of trivia. We had this recording studio that I grew up next to.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my first gigs. I got to sing for the guy who had done the Elephant Show credits. I got like
awesome.
a $50 paycheck at like 12 years old. I'm
this
like,
is
man,
a trip to nostalgia,
I'm
man.
like, $50. I'm going to the comic book shop. Silver Snail, here I come.
Silver Snail. Wow, this is like, I thought that was the highlight. This is like bringing back memories of
I'll take
Toronto,
you on a tour, man, back in the time here. But no, back to the future. Funny thing, Marty, we got to go back.
Marty.
I think they're going to he's trying to spin his finger. I see him doing all kinds of things. You're not... You've got, I'm going to say this, I'm going to barrage you with compliments, and I'm going to ask you a question. Tremendous capacity as a sculptor, tremendous quality to your work, especially the human aspect, and also creature aspect. Traditional sculptures and the life and dynamic movement of your traditional sculptures, I've always been a fan. I've always meant to tell you that. One in particular is the pugilist. Oftentimes, I try to live my life as a boxer.
Okay.
So I think about life very much in boxing terms.
Oh, cool.
A moment too late, you don't get the punch. A moment too early, you miss the punch, right? You're on the chin, you miss the chin. But all of
you lost me there, man.
Yeah, well, think about the timing, right?
Yeah.
Get on the train, get off the train, miss the punch, hit the punch. All of these accolades, basically, and triumphant artistic pursuits have now led to the position with Oculus. It's all been on this very sort of strange, what they call a life journey towards creating for VR. And so talk to us a bit more about that. You did a wonderful job at explaining some of the processes involved, but tell us more personally how that feels for you moving into this new realm that is a 360-degree realm.
Yeah. Well, strictly speaking, on a personal level, I can't really speak on above my pay grade to kind of.
Well, that's what we do in the hot seat here. I want to know about you. Never mind the guys above you. They'll get their turn in the hot seat one day.
Yeah. Just based on a personal, from a personal perspective, I mean, just kind of like working for ILM has been one of those childhood dreams of mine. Working in VR has always been that sort of childhood promise that when you've read the books, you've seen the movies, and it's not even just VR. It's just the mere thought of being transported in a world that's synthetic and that you're kind of experiencing all these senses in a manner that has never really been pulled off in any traditional sense of the word.
Without any sort of what they call helpers.
Yeah. I was going to do the
I call them helpers. I don't even need the hand
okay.
gestures, man. I'm trying to keep this PG for all the countries around the world.
Yeah.
There's a couple of executive people watching behind the camera.
Oh, man,
Just kidding. But without any helpers,
Yeah.
it's something that has not been sort of realized, I think, and you're right to say that.
Just the fact that you're in front of, like an alien or a T-Rex, or even being inside of a submarine, just...
Or spatially somewhere else.
Yeah.
How do you feel? How do you describe that? I mean, do you think that we are opening up the windows or the doors to perception? Not to quote Adolphus Huxley, but, do you think we're opening up a new realm in this regard, and that it's going to be a smashing success, that we're going to smash through our five senses and move further?
I mean, I hope so. I haven't really thought that deeply about it outside of the art content-wise, to be honest with you. Just as from a content creator's point of view, just seeing the work that we do and being inside of it, say I'm an environment artist.
Right.
I'm actually inside this environment that I built, looking around and, maybe that camera's a bit too small, scale it up. Or, we're a bit too close. Or it just changes things, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah, from a production standpoint. I wouldn't even thought of that way.
Mm-hmm.
But because of your experience, you're able to perceive it in your own internalized way and bring a new sort of fresh set of eyes to it.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I think about it from an entertainment standpoint, and you're thinking it from a strictly sort of an entertainment and technical standpoint.
And artistic,
and
too.
artistic,
Like
of course, artistic. That goes without saying.
Possible,
Yeah, what
new
possibilities
things
are there?
can artists bring, just when their imaginations are just put through the VR medium. Like,
and we're limited by these things. Not to get too esoteric with you, but I've been teaching here at the Noman School for some time, and I try to communicate to the students that they're perceiving and interpreting things in only 5 different ways, really, if you think about it. You're sort of looking at things, smelling things, tasting things, touching things, and really kind of feeling things. And I feel like VR kind of helps to move that in a whole other direction, and a different tacit kind of experience with the content.
Yeah.
What excites you about that content creation process?
Like I mentioned in my talk, having missed the boat on the 80s. I've always wanted to be a special effects artist, like working for Rick Baker and Stan Winston.
He's
and
retired
those
now,
guys.
Rick, so it's our time now to pick up the gauntlet. We've been passed on the torch here, man.
But like that sort of tangible animatronic, like them creating this creature,
Like a physical thing. Tacit, touchable.
Yeah, physical. So with as it stands right now, it's all fun, but it's still, again, flat 2D plane. In VR, we're creating something physical with face shapes and just animation and texture.
Right.
That for me is really what excites me the most.
For me, I would agree with you that kind of tacit experience with something in the environment without helpers, as we mentioned. Or
you did the gesture.
Yeah, I did the gesture for you, right? I come on the back. I've gone over to the dark side.
Yeah.
But the tangible, and then also maybe with touch technology continuing to evolve, perhaps there's going to be that kind of physical tacit thing happening as well. So
I don't know, man.
I'm
Anything
very
is possible in the future.
In that,
Yeah.
As well as like alternate experiences, not just with creatures and sort of science fiction type characters, but maybe more realistic stuff. I remember watching Star Trek when I was a kid and thinking the holodeck would be an incredible thing. Go home after a long day and say, 1959 San Francisco, Thelonious Monk live. From a strictly entertainment standpoint, I want to go and see the show. That to me is
I think there's an experience where you could watch Paul McCartney, Sir Paul McCartney.
Sir
Paul McCartney.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've had a good time so far over the past little while here at the ZBrush Summit. What are your impressions of the audience and the overall vibe here?
Just being in an environment with like-minded people and artists who are just at the top of their game, just being around that has been amazing, and granted, I think it is only at this point that I'll really enjoy it, because prior to this I was worried about the presentation, so
now
I'll be able to tell you something better, later today.
5 or so minutes from now we may go live from the streets with him. Well,
just running around a circle.
I want to thank you so much on behalf of everybody here.
Thank you.
Like I said, a senior statesman in the game. Really an honor to sit with you finally and pick your brain a little bit. But
too kind, man. Thank you.
No, don't say that. And all the people at home are probably very grateful for that very insightful look into things. Your presentation was really tantalizing and actually more than just engaging, but inspiring.
Thank you.
The bar is rising continually here, live from the Noman School of Visual Effects in Hollywood, where I guess it's beyond the birth canal. I've said some other places of the birth canal of cool, but I think this is the actual ruby fruit jungle of creation. and the fruits are falling in heavy, heavy droves. But I'm the blessed person to sit here behind the camera. On behalf of myself and Giovanni Nakpil, I'm Louis Tucci, bringing you back to the main stage inside the hangar. Take it away, Paul, for the last presentation of the day at the 2016 ZBrush Summit. We'll catch you all again in a little while. Thanks.